Hello, everybody. This is Pastor Green. We're doing another Bible study, Daniel chapter 11. If you'd like me to come speak at your church, or if you have any questions, you can email me at godsohman@gmail.com. Daniel 11, starting in verse 1. And if you remember the last chapter, I told you that 10, 11, and 12 was going to be about end times, about what's going to happen in the future. It also discusses, what happened in the past as well. It's got a dual prophecy. So we're talking about the first year of Darius the Mede this time. It says in chapter 11, verse 1, Also I, the first year of Darius the Mede, even I stood to confirm and to strengthen him. And you can see on the map here, the pink areas to the right there, that's the Mede and the Persia. And the Mede and Persia Empire combined as the one. And they come over and they took over Babylon. And they pretty much just headed northwest to take over the rest of the country over there until they got to Greece, and then they ended up losing in Greece. And now I will show thee the truth. Behold, thou shalt stand up yet 3 kings in Persia, and the fourth shall be far richer than they all. And by their strength through his riches he shall stir up all against all the realms of Grecia. And we know from history that Alexander the Great was this great king, this great military leader. And he died when he was in his 30s, and he had 4 basically apprentices take over for him. And they took over different parts of what Grecia owned and everything like that. And in Persia, there was basically these kings that they just kept living their life. And then the 4th king saw Greece, and they said, we want to take over Greece. We need Greece. And so they built this great big huge army to take over Greece, and they ended up losing there. And now a mighty king shall stand up, and shall rule with great dominion, and do according to his will. And when he should stand up, his kingdom shall be broken, and shall be divided towards the 4 winds of heaven, and not to his prosperity, not according to his dominion which he ruled, for his kingdom shall be plucked up even with those besides these. And this is what I was talking about with Alexander the Great. He had these 4 generals that took over his kingdom. He died at a very, very young age. And the king of the south shall be strong, and one of his princes he shall be strong above him, and his dominion shall be a great dominion. And one of his princes went down to Egypt and took over Egypt. And this is the one that was arguably probably the most strongest of all of them. And in the end of years they shall join themselves together. For the king's daughter of the south shall come to the kings of the north to make an agreement. He shall not retain the power of the arm, neither shall he stand, nor his arm, but shall be given up. And they brought her, and they begot her, and that he strengthened her these times. But out of the branch of her roots shall one stand up in his estate, and shall come up with an army, and shall enter the fortress of the king of the north, and shall deal against him, and such prevail. And usually when it says talk about roots, it talks about children. So this queen of the is going to come up, and she's going to have a child, and that child's going to have an army, and she's going to attack this other king. And shall also carry captives into Egypt their gods, with their princes and with their precious vessels of silver and gold. And he shall continue more years in the king of the north. So the king of the south shall come into his kingdom, and shall return unto his own land. But his sons soon shall be stirred up. So they assemble a multitude of great forces, and one shall certainly come and overflow and pass through. Then shall he return to be stirred up even to his fortresses. And the king of the south shall be moved with choler, which is also anger, and shall come forth and fight with him. Even with the king of the north he shall set forth a great multitude, but the multitude shall be given unto his hands. And when he had taken away the multitude, his heart shall be lifted up. He shall cast down many 10,000s. They should not be strengthened by it. You have to understand that battle back then was face to face, swords and shields and bows and arrows. It's not like today where it's dealt with miles and miles away. It was right up close and personal. A lot of times many thousand people would die in the battlefield. And this is talking about he's going to cast down thousands. This is going to be a really brutal war. And the king of the north shall return, and shall set forth a multitude greater than the former. And he shall certainly come after certain years with a great army with much riches. In those times shall many stand up against the king of the south, But also the robbers of thy people shall assault them, to establish the vision, but they shall fail. So the king of the north shall come and cast upon a mount, and take the most fenced cities, and the arms of the south shall not withstand, neither his chosen people, neither shall they come in strength to withstand. But he that cometh against him shall according to his own will, and none shall stand before him, and he shall stand in the glorious land, which by his hand shall all be consumed. He shall also set the face to enter the strength of his whole kingdom, and upright ones with him. And thus he shall do, and he shall give the daughter of the women corrupting her, and shall not withstand her for the side neither by him. And after this he turned his face to the isles, and shall take many. But a prince of his own behalf shall cause a reproach offered by him to cease. Without his own reproach he shall cause it to turn upon him. Then he shall turn his face towards the front of his own land, and he shall stumble and fall, and not be found. Then shall stand upon his estate a raiser of taxes, in the glory of the kingdom. With a few days he shall be destroyed, neither in anger nor in battle. And we know in history there's a guy that comes up that just starts taxing the people like crazy. And this is what they're talking about here. In his estate there shall stand a vile person, to whom they shall not give the honor of the kingdom, but he shall come in peace, and obtain the kingdom by flatteries. And we know in the end times there's going to be the Antichrist is going to show up. He's going to be a vile person. And he's going to show up and he's going to say, I come in peace, and he's going to flatter the people. The Bible talks about he has a bow, but it doesn't mention arrows. He's not going to use war. He's going to come in there and he's going to sweet talk people to get what he wants. And with the arms of the flood they shall be overflow before him, and shall be broken, yea, also the prince of the covenant. So he's going to go after God's people. After the league made with him, he shall work deceitfully, for he shall come up and shall become strong with small people. He shall enter peacefully, even upon the fattest place of the providence, and he shall do which his fathers have not done, nor his fathers. He shall scatter among them the prey, and spoils, and riches. Yet he shall forecast his device against the strongholds, even for a time. So he's going to give people back their money. He's going to come and say, you know, I'm gonna give you guys your riches. I'm not going to take it for myself. And he shall stir up his power and his courage against the king of the south with a great army. And the king of the south shall be stirred up with a battle, and a very great and mighty army. But he shall not stand, for they shall forecast devices against him. Yea, they have fed, the portion of his meat shall be destroy him, and his army shall overflow, and many shall fall down slain. And both of these kings' hearts shall be due to mischief. They shall speak lies to one at a table, and it shall not prosper, yet at the end it shall be the time appointed. And we know, if you look at our leaders, they sit there and they lie to each other the whole entire time. That's just what politicians do. And it says here that people are going to speak all these different lies at a table. And they shall return to his land with great riches, and his heart shall be against the holy covenant. And he shall do exploits and return to his own land. So he's going to go after God's people. He's going to go after the holy covenant. And at the time appointed he shall return, and come towards the south. But it shall not be as the former, but as the latter. And the ships of the Chittim shall come against them, before he shall be grieved and return, and have an indignation against the holy covenant. And so he shall do, and he shall return, and have intelligence with them that forsake the holy covenant. And arms shall stand up and depart, and they shall pollute the sanctuary of strength, and shall take away the daily sacrifices. And they shall take a place of abomination and make it desolate. And we know that if you read the book of Maccabees, this guy showed up, and he basically did something to make the temple desolate. He sacrificed a pig on the altar, or a person, or he did something that destroyed the temple. And it took the Maccabees, I think it was 1700 days or something like that, to fix the temple, to get it back again. And in the future, in the end times, the middle of the tribulation, the 3.5 year mark, the Antichrist is going to make the temple desolate. He's going to do what's called the abomination of desolate. And so that's going to happen in the future as well. And such shall we do wickedly against the covenant shall be corrupt by the flatteries. But the people that do know their God shall be strong and do exploits. So it's saying you got to stay strong in your faith, because if you stay strong in your faith, God's going to be there with you. And I don't like people looking at me going, well, this guy, He knows what he's doing. He's strong. He's courageous. I try to be. I try to be a strong, courageous guy. I try to follow what God says. But I don't know what the future's going to hold. You got to stay firm on your God and not on people. And they that understand among the people shall instruct many, yet they shall fall by the sword, and by the flame, and by captive, and by spoils many days. You have to when you become a Christian, you got to instruct many people on how to be a Christian. You got to teach them and mentor them and be there for them. It doesn't matter what they threaten you. It doesn't matter what they say. It says you shall fall by the sword and by flame and by captivity and spoil. In the end times, we're going to be here. We need to follow God. There's going to be a time where people are going to question your faith. They're going to say, denounce your God, and if you don't, we're going to extinguish your life. We're going to put you in prison. We're going to starve you to death. And a lot of people are going to fall away. They're going to say, I don't want to be tortured, so I'm going to denounce my God. But you got to stay strong in the faith. You got to teach others, and that's why you got to keep God in your heart at all times. Now when they shall fall, they shall be hoping with a little help, but many shall cleave to them with flatteries. And some of them with understanding shall fall, and try them, and to purge, and to make them white, even at the time of the end, because it is yet for a time appointed. And the king shall do according to his will, and he shall exalt himself, and magnify himself over every god, and shall speak marvelous things against the God of gods, and shall prosper till the indignation be accomplished. For that is the determination shall be done. His Antichrist is going to come in and say that he's greater than all the gods, all the pantheon of Greek and Roman gods, all the African gods and the Asian gods and the Middle Eastern gods, and even the Christian God. He's going to say, I'm better than all of them. I'm better than all of them. You got to worship me. Neither shall he regard the God of his fathers, nor the desire of women, nor regard any God, for he shall magnify himself above all. So he's going to say that he's the best, and people are going to believe him. But in his estate he shall honor the God of forces, and the God of whom his fathers knew not, he shall honor with gold and silver and precious stones and pleasant things. Thus shall he do with the most strongholds and with a strange God, whom he shall acknowledge and increase with glory. And he shall cause them to rule over many, and shall divide the land for gain. He's going to basically flatter these people to get everything, and then he's going to basically sell everything so he can make money. And at the time of the end, the king of the south shall push at him, and the king of the north shall come against him like a whirlwind, with chariots and with horsemen, and with many ships. And he shall enter into the countries, and shall overflow and pass over. And he shall enter also to the glorious land, and many countries shall be overthrown, but these shall escape out of his hand, even Edom and Moab, and the children of Ammon. He shall stretch forth his hand also to the countries, and not the land of Egypt shall not escape. But he shall have power over the treasures of gold and of silver, and over all the precious things of Egypt, and the Libyans and the Ethiopians shall be at his steps. But tidings of the east, out of the north shall betrouble him. Therefore he shall go forth with great fury to destroy, and utterly make away many. And he shall plant the tabernacles of his palace between the seas and the glorious holy mountains. He shall come to his end, and none shall help him. That's the end of the chapter there. The next chapter, we're going to see people starting to fight against them. Anyways, guys, if you'd like me to come speak at your church, if you have any questions, you can email me. You can also comment below. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. On the bottom right of the screen, I'm going to put the Daniel Bible study. The top left, I'm going to have the Exodus Bible study. And the bottom left is going to be the video YouTube things you're going to like. Anyways, guys, I appreciate it. I hope see you guys on the next video. Have yourself a great day.